Welcome back to the channel, everybody. You will have seen or will be seeing my unboxing of my new Hollandspiel game, Objective Shreveport, for the Red River campaign. But a couple of other new arrivals this week I just wanted to share with you. Haven't really had a lot of time to look at them as yet, but hope to sort of share a bit more with them in due course. So first of all, probably 6 months ago, more for reading purposes and because I very much like the layout of the games, I bought the rulebook from Osprey, The Silver Bayonet, written by Joseph McCullough, who also did Frostgrave, very well-known game out there in wargaming circles. Silver Bayonet, kind of like a Napoleonic Gothic horror skirmish game. Intrigued me, not necessarily sure I would play it as that, but what I did like, I loved some of the figures that were produced and available through North Star. And I was sort of thinking of various scenarios where I might be able to use existing sort of 28mm figures that I have for sort of just one-off games for a bit of fun. As a result, I've been looking for a while at some of the unit sets that were available for this game, and particularly the one that stuck out for me was the Spanish unit, which I've now purchased. And I've bought this with two reasons in mind. One, because at some point I may get to play the Silver Bayonet, and two, because the figures complemented my existing 28mm Napoleonic skirmish figures that I have, which are Spanish. I have some grenadiers, line infantry, and importantly, I have quite a few guerrillas and irregulars. And what I really liked about these figures was that they had that irregular guerrilla kind of appeal, very unusual sort of poses. And I thought, yeah, they'd be great for sharp practice, any other kind of skirmish game you may play, and of course the one in question. So pleased to get those. You can see here you get an officer, a sapper, an infantryman, an artilleryman, a guerrilla, a champion of the faith, a swordsman, and a veteran hunter. So although designed for this game, very, very usable in normal Napoleonic skirmish games as well. So that's my little palette cleanser when I get a spare moment to start painting those. Might be a little while, but it's there on the back burner if I just get to the point where I fancy doing something a little bit different. Something else I've had my eye on for a while. Links in with the Men Who Would Be Kings wargame rules from Osprey. Again, big fan of those. Really liked the Little Wars TV adaptation for the Izamwana campaign, and I think it's a great little game. I've been looking at some of the publications that the History and Games Lab have been bringing out linked to that, and the one that was a real interest to me was The Last Samurai Rebellion, and particularly this one because I'm a big fan of The Last Samurai film, and who hasn't watched that, and the Satsuma Rebellion in particular, and this is really what this all covers. So I bought this really more for reading purposes. I have a massive unpainted 6mm backers samurai force, which I'm hoping to get painted up at some point for playing the games Banzai, the Banzai rules, which I bought several years ago. So that is a long-term project. Although I probably won't be using these particular period uniforms, I am a big fan of Japan and Japanese history, and this was a real interest to me. What I particularly like about these books is they're not necessarily game specific. Obviously there are rules and options in there, but there's lots of scenarios which could be adapted to different games or rule sets. But what you get is a lot of history. You get the history of the period. you get the equipment and dress, you get uniform guides, even figure guides where you can buy figures of the period from. So there's a lot of detail in this book, and of course you get some lovely pictures, both of painted figures and historically as well. And having been to Japan myself a few years ago and seen some of the castles over there and some of the samurai uniforms, this has kind of resonated with me ever since, really. I've always been interested in Japan, but I saw this publication and it was always on my list of must-haves. So as you can see there, usual, very, very good quality publication. Got lots of really interesting scenarios in there as well, with maps, deployment areas. Yeah, one I'm hoping to have a bit of a closer look at in due course there. So that's The Men Who Would Be Kings, The Last Samurai Rebellion, and that's a Dan Mersey and Eric Wood publication. The next thing was just something more out of curiosity. I do have the rules, The War on the Ground, by AnschlussPublishing, and they've been bringing out lots of additional publications over recent months. Quite a few that actually have a real interest to me, but I've resisted buying them. But I saw this one come out last month, and it was a must-have. And that is Forgotten Battles, The Raids in the European Theatre from 1939 to 1945. So they're designed for all rules and scales, obviously especially their own homebrew set. But what I like about this is that you could take this and adapt this to lots of different things. So I'm not going to show you too much on this yet, because I'm hoping to do a separate video covering this. But enough said, it's a beautiful publication, lots of information. Really looking forward to giving that a read as well. The final thing, and has arrived again this week, is another little game, a folio game. Again, something I've been looking at for a while. I saw a number of videos on YouTube of the game Scream Aim Fire by J. Kirkpatrick under the Tiny Battle Publishing umbrella, and I didn't buy the first publication, but when the second game came out, which was based on the Pacific, it was a real interest to me. So I've decided, as I'm not going to Partizan this year, to invest in that. And I'm hoping to bring you a little unbagging and a bit of a review on this solitaire game in due course. So a few goodies arrived this week. Just wanted to share those with you. Anything particularly you'd like me to do a bit of a closer review on or overview of, let me know in the comments, and I'll gladly get something produced and put on the channel for you. But thanks for watching, and hope you're enjoying your hobby weekend, and see you again all soon.